Hello, this is John from Revit for Interior Designers. And today, this is a new video in a series regarding how to customize railings in Revit. Please take a look at my YouTube playlist for the remainder of the videos I have. Now, my students typically approach me with the fact that they've watched all my videos, taken my classes, yet Revit cannot create the exact design that they're after in the software. So today's topic is how to create a custom design guardrail in Revit. It's a little bit of an advanced topic, so please send me your comments if you get in trouble, and I'll walk you through it. Okay? Let's have a look. I want to make a railing across here, right at the stringer, and I want to draw it custom because Revit's tools doesn't quite give me the flexibility that I'm after. So component model in place allows me to draw just about anything in Revit on the spot. So in order to draw a railing, though, I need to tell it, Revit that is, where to draw this item. So what I need is a reference plane. I need to draw a reference plane here somewhere. Let me draw it right there. And the reference plane becomes the origin that the railing gets placed onto. And again, it's like a chalkboard, a piece of glass. If I were to give this a name, railing plane. You can also click on it and give it a name here. Then you can place the railing on top of that plane. It'd be centered on it. And so if I draw an elevation, Revit knows in elevation where to put the railing. And as I move this line up and down, the entire railing follows. So I'm going to place it exactly where I want the railing to be. Let's say I want the railing to be aligned with here, and then I'm going to move it down a little bit. I'm going to move it down an inch. So I want the railing to be centered right there where that green line is, my reference plane called railing plane. Then what I do is I switch gears and I go to elevation view, and I tell Revit, and let me hide this floor for a second, hide element. I'm going to tell it to draw my railing in elevation. So I'm going to sketch it out here. I'm going to go to component, model in place. And because I'm drawing a railing, I'm going to choose the railing family or the category here. So when I hide railings, this thing I'm drawing will disappear also. So you can call it whatever you like. So with the tools that are available, what I first want to do, which I find easiest, is to draw a profile, like a wall or something, that whose edges describe where the railing will follow. It'll become the path I'm using to draw the railing, and the railing is going to be attached to this invisible wall. So walls are extrusions, but before I draw anything, because I'm in elevation, Revit needs to know, well, where am I drawing? Am I drawing on that back wall, at the face of this stringer, or somewhere else? Well, that's why I drew the reference plane with a name. Because of that, I can come into here and choose the name of my reference plane, which is railing plane. And so now, as if there's an invisible piece of glass, exactly where I want it to be placed for the railing, in front of me, I can draw on top of that surface. And so now it knows where to draw the surface. You see here, it's set to that plane. So now I can draw an extrusion. And as you know, I can just pick objects here. I can just follow along this edge. I can then, let's say I want it to be offset by 3 feet. I can just pick 3 feet. I can begin to offset, or whatever dimension you're after. And then maybe here I want to draw an object that connects. I don't want it offset though. I'll make that 0. Connects there, so my railing is going to be at an angle like that. And maybe the top one is going to go this way and up. And perhaps I offset it 3 feet as well, whatever dimension you're after, and I trim these pieces. So there, I want the railing to follow this shape, but it's a wall. So when I accept it, and I accept it here, I've built a 3D model right there of a wall. And what I'll do is I'll use this wall to trace my railing as a guide. And then I'll add the vertical members and other pieces and parts of this model as I go. So let's go back to elevation. I drew this sort of section here. So I take this and I go back. I click on the wall and I edit and place that model. And again, not only are you in here to potentially edit this model, but because the create menu's here, you can make more models. So what I want to do is I want to draw my railing using the sweep command, because that's what railings are. They're a path that the shape follows, and I might have a custom cross section I want to create that follows that path. So I can draw a profile and load the profile into Revit, or I can draw it on the spot. So here, what I'm doing, I'm going to do a sweep, because at its very nature, that's what railings are. I'm going to do a sketch a path or pick a path. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to tell the Revit where to draw this profile. I'm going to say, not profile, rather path. I want to go up this way. I want to turn the corner and go this way, this way, this way, this way, and come down to the ground. That's what I want the railing to do. And then, because this is a sweep, I accept that path. And you see, if I go to 3D, there's the path I have right there in black. And then here is where I can draw the cross section of my my railing member. Now I could, I gotta go to select profile here to activate these menus. And then here I can load a profile. So if you go to a generic profile family and draw a profile and load it into Revit, it shows up in this list. Or I can simply draw it myself on the spot. I can go to edit profile or load profile. I don't have a profile to load, so I'm going to draw it myself. The only issue is if I draw a profile now, I can edit it later, but it's easier to edit these things in the original source file. If you make a profile called, top rail custom, you can open that file, fix it there, and it automatically fixes your file here when you upload it. Otherwise, I can just draw it. So let me draw it here. I'll go to edit profile, and I use the commands here, and I'll draw a circle, for example, and I'll draw it right there, and I will draw a circle that is 1.5 inches. Fine. Click. Or maybe I'll draw a little smaller. I'll make it 1 inch. So it's a 2-inch round circle. And if I accept the profile and accept this sweep, right? This menu is for the sweep. It draws that object right there. Custom. Then what I want to do is, if I were to finish the model, what will happen is you'll wind up with this, which looks bizarre, right? I got like this thing here, and it's on top of this piece here. Now, obviously, I can make this wall a 1/2 inch thick and make it out of glass. And suddenly I have a glass panel inside of this railing design, and that's fine. But what also Revit does is it lets you click on this model again, which now has 2 models. It has a sweep and a extrude, edit it in place, and I can tell this object just to be a dummy. Here where it says visible graphics, visible, I can just say no. So what that does is when I finish the model, this object disappears because it's not visible. It's a dummy object. It's there for me to use for tracing, but it doesn't remain behind and become visible. So you can make it invisible, which is great because now I have a tool to draw my railing, and then I can turn it off when it's no longer necessary, but I got the results here of that profile that I was after. I go back to plan view, I go back, double click here, I click on this object, edit in place, and it'll bring them both back. All right, it'll bring them both back because this is no longer invisible. I'm inside the family. That edit in place model, I'm inside there, working. So now I can continue doing my business here. I can continue creating new shapes that get combined with this railing that represent maybe the intermediate members. So, for example, if I want to draw another post here on an angle, that's another sweep. I would draw a sweep and then maybe use the sketch path command because I have nothing to trace anymore. I can't touch anything here. So I want to sketch my own path. And again, I'm going to instruct it to sketch it out on top of that railing plane, so it knows where to draw this drawing I'm about to make. So my path is going to be sketched out. With the line command, I can simply just draw it here somewhere. I can try to pick something. See, I can't pick anything here. But I can draw a line, as an example, right across here at an angle. And then from there, I can offset it where I really want it to be. Maybe I want it to be 3 feet away. I'll put it there. If I take this, can I move it on the angle? Let's see if I can move it on the angle. I can try to move it on this angle here, 3 feet. I can make it hit the bottom of that top rail. And then when I accept it, again, what I've got is a 3D model that is a line, and right there is where I draw my profile. Again, select profile and either load it because you own it somewhere. Let me see if they have any railing profiles in here. They do not. Or you can make it from down here. You can grab. Oh, I can't because not in the same family. Well, you can make a family, a profile family, and load it into that menu. And for now, what I'll do is I'll just quickly will I cancel it now? Let's see. I'm not going to select it. I'm going to cancel out of this. Let me do one thing. I'm going to hit New Family. I'm going to do a P for Profile. Profile Family. This one here. I'm going to go into this family here, and I'm going to draw something, you know, with the line command. Say I draw something like that. And I give it dimensions, right? So let's say it's 3 inches, and maybe this distance is a 1/4 inch. Maybe it's supposed to be 1/2 inch. I'm not sure exactly what the placement is going to look like when this is loaded, but I'm going to File, Save As, right? Family, and I'm going to give it a name in my folder here. I'm going to call it Custom Rail, and now it's saved as a file. And then here I'm going to load it into my project. If I have more than one project open, it'll ask me which project to load it into. But I'm going to load it into my current project called Advanced Guardrail. That's my file. Hit OK. And in my file, I'm going to close out of this model. I'm going to go back to this drawing. I'm going to load that model in place. I am going to create a new sweep. I'm going to sketch a path on this plane called railing. I'm going to draw a line. Let's see, I'll just draw it here arbitrarily. And then when it comes to accepting this and choosing a profile here, I'm going to choose a profile I just loaded called Custom Rail. When you do that, it loads your custom design right into Revit right there. And then with that being said, you do have options here to manipulate it. So you can either change the original file and slide it up and down. You can see where the crosshairs are, and you see it moved it to the right of that crosshair because that's what it looked like in the family, in the file. But you do have options here to move it these directions. So if I said half the distance, negative 1.5 inches, it should slide it down, you see. Now it's centered. And I can also change the angle. I can flip it over. I have options here to manipulate how that drawing is placed at that crosshair right there. But let's say I accept it as is. Can I rotate it? Let's see. Let's try 90. Apply. It rotates it, but this is probably off. So hit apply. And then I need to slide it down with the Y this time, not the X. Down this way, 1.5 inches. So 1.5. I'm not sure if it's positive or negative. Looks like it's negative. So if I do negative, you'll see it go the opposite direction. See, it moves it right there. And there's the line of the path. So it's going to draw a post right there. Hit OK. And there's the post. And it could have been smaller, obviously, but there's the post right there. And then if I'm working here in elevation, right, if I'm working here, I can grab that member. Let me go wireframe. I'm going to grab that member. Here's copy. Here's multiple. I'm going to copy it from this corner of this tread to this corner, to this corner. Maybe even here, I'll copy it here. Oh, that's not a good place. Copy this, copy command with multiple from this corner to the tip of this stair, to the tip of this one, and so on and so forth, working your way up the ladder here. And I'm going to copy this one from this stair to this stair and see where it winds up. That's the end. And again, if I can draw one here vertically if I like. But the whole point of this exercise is that I can draw these objects in here. I draw one and then copy it. For good measure, I'll just copy this down to there, for example. And then I can accept it. And when you go to 3D, you see this is more custom, right? Obviously, if this was taller, I'm not sure if I can make that go to the center. But you see, well, I could, because I can change the path of this to be longer, to make it bite into the top rail, for example, as a design idea. But you can see my railing is doing its custom thing. See, you'd be hard pressed to kind of do this with Revit basic menus for railings. So this is more custom. Then when I finish this, I can duplicate it to the opposite side. Then they'll both be the same. So here in elevation, I click on this railing, edit the model in place. Click on these, edit the sweep. Again, the sweep is that profile right there plus this path, that path right there. So if I edit the path, I can pull this and make it longer. I made it go to the center line. So when I do that and I accept it, now these are not. I didn't make these duplicates exactly. I changed one, I won't change the others, but I fixed this one before. I should have done this first. But because I did this, I can accept it. And then when I do that, I can accept it here by finishing the model. And that one there is doing what I'm after. Right there. See that? Right there. Then you copy this however many times you need it, right? Then you'll get your design to look the way you want it to look. So this is one method of getting something more custom. Let me go back. Let me go into here. Let me edit this model. Let me grab this wall that was invisible, make it visible this time. And for the thickness, I want to make it, say, 1/2 inch of glass. So 1/4 inch thick in one direction and negative 1/4 inch thick in the other direction. So this is going from the center line out a 1/4 inch and toward me 1/4 inch. So together the glass is going to be a 1/2 inch thick. So when I look at that in 3D, you'll see from the center line, it's right there in the center of this design. And I can also come into here with that panel and give it a material. So here I can simply say glass. Glass, clear, glazing. Double click. And because you see it says visible? Yes, it's visible. I'll be able to see it. When I accept the model, glass will appear. So now you have this. See? So let's do one more round of changes, one more round of revisions here. I will look at this elevation and I will add, and you notice that I'm keeping all the parts together in one model in place, one in place model. I'm not drawing the pieces separately because when I copy this, I want all the parts and pieces to come together. Otherwise, they're going to be separate entities. So when I edit in place, I now have this piece, this member, this member. These are all drawn separately. The glass, all drawn separately because I went to create. I can draw anything here. And as long as I draw it inside this place and accept it, they're all part of the same model. So one last sweep. As an example, I go to sweep. I sketch a path. I pick the plane I want to draw on. Same plane as before. The railing plane. Hit OK. And then using my drafting tool, I'm going to grab this guy, Spline. And let's say I started here. Maybe I draw it to here. I draw it to there. I draw it to there. Draw it to there. Maybe I terminate it right there. And as a spline, if you use them before, when you modify them and you click on them, you grab these anchors and you pull on them to adjust their curvature. So for example, here I can pull that down. I can pull this one up and back. And you'll notice that you'll get some interesting results here. Like that, for example. That's your path. What is the profile that's going to be on this path? If I accept the path, this is the sketch. I'm drawing the sketch of the path. I accept it. I did this just now. Then you'll notice in 3D, it gives you the target there. That's where it loads the family right there, those crosshairs. Right, remember this is my family, this is the crosshairs. So it's drawing that path right on the crosshairs. That's why you'll see it. Let me close this for a second. Don't need that. That's why you'll see it right there. So I can draw it here right now. I can select a profile and pick it from a list I've loaded, and that's where you loaded your custom designs. Or I can just draw it right here, right now, using my edit profile command, just draft it. So here, if I go in here, I can draw a rectangle, and maybe here I draw something, and this is a little a little tricky working in this manner because you know it's hard to draft it this way because it's not giving me center. If I do a dimension from, see if I can do a dimension across here. Here are my dimensions. I want to hit equal here and then get rid of my dimensions. So what did I do? I want these lines to be equal from that center. So what I do is I do DI for dimension. I go from this edge to this edge, which is the center, to that edge. I want to be able to control equal. So when I pull this out of here, these dimensions, I can click on the dimension and use this little symbol right there called equal to space out this equal right there. Click. Now it's equal. I don't need this any longer. I can delete that. Well, now I can click on these and change these numbers. I can make it 1 inch. I can make this one. Well, that's an inch. I have to grab the equal again to get this one to move to be the same distance. You can see I can also dimension it here. I can mention that one there, and I can mention this one here at the bottom. And then you see it's rounding up. That's why I can't make it that accurate right now. But this one I'll make exactly half. Here's a little line I'm grabbing right there. You get the idea. As you move those lines, the dimensions become active, and you can move the dimensions around. These dimensions have the opaque background, makes it really hard to see. But anyway, I'm drawing this shape, my little custom shape right there. Whatever shape you want. When I accept it here, I've accepted the profile, and then here I got to accept the sweep. So now it puts it in right there. And you see it's going right through the model in the location where I drew that sweep. And the glass is, I forget, I made it like a 1/4 inch thick or something. So you can manipulate this shape and move out this piece if you want it to stick out further and change its design, right? Edit the sweep, select the profile. The profile will show up right there. Make this edge, here's the profile. Select the profile, edit the profile, and I can make that get a little, grow a little bit more on one side, and you'll see what the effect is when I accept it. It pulled it out. See, that distance right there moved out. So you can decide exactly what shape and what thickness and height you want this to be, or just draw it as a file, separate file. And lo and behold, you've got even a more custom ramp, or ramp rather, a stair. So those are the designs I wanted to mention, the design capabilities that Revit has when it comes to making railings.